Hi there, this is Ranjit, and in this video, let's do the comparison between the iPhone 12 and the iPhone 12 mini. And guys, if you recall, I had done a full review with the pros and cons with the iPhone 12. And I'm not going to do a full review of the iPhone 12 mini because it's almost exactly the same as the iPhone 12. But after using this iPhone 12 mini for a few weeks, I've noticed some differences that I want to share with you so that you can make an informed decision. Is the regular iPhone 12 better for you, or this iPhone 12 mini is better for you? So let's have a closer look at the same now. So as you can see, basic size difference between these two devices. Obviously this is having a bigger 6.1 inch screen, whereas the mini, as the name says, mini, it is having a smaller screen and 5.4. And again, just notice the size side by side, and that gives you a difference. Also the boxes, these are the boxes. This is the mini, and this is the regular iPhone 12. One thing to note is that in terms of in-hand feel, the iPhone 12, because they are now using this boxier design, feels actually wider to hold. And one thing I've noticed is that though you might just assume that the 6.1 inch screen is not that big or wide, because Android phones 6.6, 6.7 we are going. But the thing is that as you can see, if you hold the phone like this, you just simply can't reach to the edges. For example, if I have to adjust my grip to open the calendar, that is not the case with the mini. For example, for the mini, same thing if I'm trying to do, let me just lower the brightness a little bit. As you can see, I can easily reach it. So one hand usability, if it is very high on your priorities, you are busy, you mostly use your phone with single hand, this is way more comfortable. Here, like many of the bigger phones, you have to do a little bit of hand gymnastics if you want to reach. As you can see, you simply can't reach it. You have to adjust your grip. So that is something that I noticed, and I started to appreciate after using the mini. The next small thing is that both of them have the notch that's for Face ID, and Face ID works brilliantly on both. That's not a problem. But one thing to note is that the notch size is the same on both the devices. So I would say the notch is a little bit more noticeable on this smaller one compared to the bigger one. For example, if you're watching the videos and stuff, as you can see, this occupies a little bit more space. So that is something you have to actually note. Yes, after you are just watching the video like this for some time, you don't notice the notch. But again, it is more noticeable, I would say, on the mini if you use this widescreen mode like this. That is something that I have noticed. You eventually get used to it, but that notch, you notice a lot more on the mini compared to the regular one. Next thing that I have noticed is regarding the speakers. Both actually have stereo speakers, and both actually have very good stereo speakers. Let me give you an idea. Let me try to play the same video. I'm going to maximize the volume. This is the iPhone 12. To give you an idea, max volume, we could
affordable 5G smartphones that will be launching in India. Let's see. I don't know the exact pricing because I got the unit 2 days before.
And in terms of volume, I would say the regular iPhone 12 is slightly louder, not by a huge margin.
I don't know the exact pricing because I got the unit 2 days before the launch.
This is max volume.
Add the pricing information, below, it will be available.
Let me just play this.
For the launch, but I'll add the pricing information,
Volume, yes, slightly, very slightly louder on the iPhone 12, but the big difference that I've noticed is that there is a very slight bass and depth with the speakers of the iPhone 12 that is sort of missing on the mini. Again, if you don't do this test side by side, you will not notice it, but as I was using both the phones, I didn't notice it. So yes, in terms of speakers, at the maximum volume, I felt the iPhone 12 mini slightly on the shriller side, where it's slightly better defined, I would say. Of course, if you want the best speakers, the Pro series definitely has more depth compared to this one, but that's what I have noticed. Now moving to color reproduction and the screen quality, here both of them are actually very good, and I did not have any problem with either of these. Both are having now a OLED screen. Now if we talk about cameras on this one, if you notice in the back, before that, actually, let me talk about colors. This is not about the difference, but in colors, because I have these two colors. And if you notice, let me just move it around. On this blue and the darker colors, these new iPhone 12 are a fingerprint magnet. This is not a problem with the Pro, but with the regular ones, as you can see, This is a fingerprint magnet, and they are actually a lot more visible in this darker colors like blue and other dark colors. Whereas here also, yes, there are fingerprints, but because of this lighter color, this is green, it's not visible. So if you don't like to use a case or something, so you will see a lot more fingerprints, darker colors iPhone. That is something that I have noticed. It's actually very much visible on this new blue color, whereas this you can get by with. Another thing is, now as we're talking about the cameras, both actually have the same cameras on them. Actually, it's the same setup. Both are having a 12 megapixel, and in fact the cameras are identical. I've taken several pictures with these, and the results were the same. I could just mix and match here, and you won't even know if it's from the mini or the regular iPhone. As you can see, here are some of the samples that I've taken side by side with both these, and again the cameras are the same. In fact, moving to the front facing camera also, it's the same result. So in terms of camera, I would say I'm neutral about this. Again, if you want to know more about the cameras on these new iPhones, I already made a dedicated video. Again, watch that for more info, guys. Now coming to the biggest usability difference that I have noticed with these two phones is that because of the size, you notice this is obviously bigger. The regular iPhone 12 obviously has a bigger battery. This one actually has a 2815 milliamp hour battery, whereas actually on the smaller mini we have a 2277 milliamp hour battery. But again, this one also has a slightly smaller screen, but in terms of day-to-day usage, both of them actually lasted me for a typical working day, and I could even use this one next day if I forget charging. But this was sort of a everyday charging phone. And in terms of screen on time, if I have to talk about, you can easily get about 1.5 to almost about 2 hours of extra screen on time with the regular iPhone 12 compared to the mini. It was not like the mini was not lasting me for a typical day. If you are a regular user, yes, this will last you for a typical day, 4.5 to almost 5.5 hours. Also 5 hours you can expect the battery life on this one, but definitely this bigger one was giving me better battery life. So I would say, if you, in terms, this is just pure for battery life, if you are a person who always, you generally complain about battery life, then I would suggest the iPhone 12, because if you go with the mini, then you might have to top it up in the evenings. Also, coming to wireless charging, both support wireless charging, and I did charge even the mini wirelessly and it charged fine. But again, as this is smaller, this supports 12 watt of wireless charging, whereas the regular iPhone 12 has 15 watt of wireless charging. But again, this one obviously has the bigger battery also, so the charging speed is almost the same on both. Now coming to which phone is better for which user, I would say let's first talk about the mini, because this is a very different kind of a phone. I would say if you were a person who always wanted a small phone but a very powerful phone, then you have an option. Earlier we simply did not have options like that, because whenever manufacturers were manufacturing mini phones, it used to come with outdated processor or some major cost cutting or features cutting. That is not the case with the iPhone 12 mini. So you always liked small size phones, you just don't like big phones, then you can definitely have a look at the iPhone 12 mini. But if you're okay with medium sized phones, then I would say the iPhone 12 makes more practical sense. Also, in terms of pricing, here in India, there is a pricing gap of about 10,000 rupees between these two devices. Again, I'll leave the links for Amazon in the description so that you can check out the latest pricing, any discounts, etc. So do let me know which one would you go for, the iPhone 12 or the iPhone 12 mini. And I just hope Android manufacturers also do manufacture powerful Android phones in the smaller form factor, because to be frank guys, I enjoyed using this mini. After a long time, I had a phone that easily fits in a hand and I don't have to do hand gymnastics to actually use it. So surprisingly, I enjoyed using the iPhone 12 mini. Anyways guys, that's it for now. Thanks for watching. This is Ranjit, and guys, if you haven't subscribed, hit that subscribe button. This is Ranjit and I'll catch you guys later. Take care guys.